before we get into our round 12. But this is really crunch time for a lot of these players. You know, these wins here in day 2, they really make a difference. And a lot of these players will be thinking, right, okay, how many wins do I need to get guaranteed top 64? How many do I need to get into top 16? Possibly even top 8 for some of these players. You know, every win counts. And this is what I was saying earlier in the intro. You know, every play counts, every card. You know, you really have to start, you know, all of our players play seriously, of course, but I think that even in day 2 now, all of these little micro decisions, you know, that's what's so crucial here going into day 2, and especially when you're playing a deck like Lost Box as well, those flower selectings even, you know, that's what can really make or break a game.
It's like we always say, day 2, the later on you go, you separate the goods from the greats, right?
Yes.
If you're in day 2, you know you're already good enough to make it past most of the rest of the competition, but now we really start to see the cream rise to the top.
Yeah, no, for sure. We see both our players shuffling up just a little bit more. Before we get into our round 12, who we got here, do you think?
Who we got?
No, who are you going for?
Who am I going for? I mean, you gotta,
I put you
like, I hesitate to, it feels like such a cliche, right? Yeah, it's you know, you have like a multiple not a multiple world champion, multiple IC champion there,
yeah,
and you got to think that he's favored, right? But I also want to give credit to Ali, right? He's clearly made it into day 2,
yeah,
up against Tord. It's the underdog story again. He's in with more than a fighting chance, so yeah, I think it's likely on Tord, but you never know what can happen.
Well, we all love an underdog story, especially our Pokemon players as well. And here we see the flip for the first turn. I think Ali maybe opted to go second, I believe. And I think this is a popular decision that a lot for the Lost Box players. Of course, going second, you're able to hit the Colress first. You know, you're able to, you know, spit innocently first as well. And especially in these Lost Box matches, if you can start taking the first prizes, you know, that's where the momentum really starts in this matchsome.
Yeah, attacking tempo is very important. So being able to take the first prize, as you said, can be quite relevant. Or maybe you could even go for a turn 1 of Abyss Seeking, you know, set up your Lost Zone really nicely so you can do some nice plays later on. Now, if you go over to the prize cards, and that is...
I heard you like energy. Yeah, for Tord's quite an awkward prizes here. 2 dark energy, 1 water. That energy line isn't that thick. He does play the 4 dark energy, 3 water energy as well. So it is quite awkward for Tord, but you know, with the Battle VIP pass in hand, he will be able to do that prize checking as soon as possible.
It might look through and think, you know, hold on, I'm not really missing anything, and then realize, oh, like my energy's missing. Yeah, like there's not a lot of not a lot of just like plain color cards in my deck, just all the other Pokemon and trainers.
Of course, and the 1 lightning energy is not going to be that much of an issue for Tord. He does play 2, and of course only the iron hands that can utilize the lightning energy, unless you're going to be attaching it to anything else with a colorless attack. Yeah, does play Roaring Moon as well, of course, and again Kyogre, the same sort of strategy from Gdansk. Essentially just swapping out that Palkia 1-1 into the Giratina 1-1.
Yeah. Now, he's not cut off from any energy type based on this pricing, because so he has still access to 2 darks and 1 water, but this does mean that he's cut off from a potential Radiant Greninja play, and that could be awkward. Yeah,
that can be quite awkward, especially if you're forced to in these earlier turns. You know, you see here at Battle VIP Pass, though, you can imagine those flower selectings do come up and running thick and fast. Just a little price check here. What have I got available to me? We spoke about this yesterday, especially with the Lost Box resources, usually so thin, especially when you're playing a deck like Tord's here. You know, there's so many different attackers, so many different options. You know, it's all about utilizing what's available to you.
And we can see Tord figured it out already, right? He kind of made sure to sort of pick up all the energy and look at them, and you can see, yep, there's...
yeah, that's what I got available to me.
Meant to be a lot more than this.
That's what I got coming for me in this game. Interesting to mention as well, similar sort of 60 to Gdansk, only playing the 4 Colress. That's pretty thin, right, for a support line. But of course, it's coming up well for him. 2 day 2s now with this archetype.
Yeah. Oh, very awkward decision already. As Tord between Marathi and Sableye, actually just lost in the Sableye.
Yeah, just the 1 Sableye as well in this deck as well.
So there will be no lost mine from Tord this game.
No lost mine at all. Jet Energy and Forest Sealstone. That can be quite awkward. Does have Nest Ball in hand, so can opt to go for an early Star Alchemy if he wishes, but opts for the Jet Energy instead. We spoke about how important the Jet Energy is for these Lost Box decks. You know, switch outs in a company with you know, a free retreat with the Comfey, with that retreat cost as well. such a good utility card.
Very much so. Although Todd maybe considering going for the conceal cards first, and no, it decides to attach to the active and manually retreat, going into the comfort that way. One more flower selecting, and it's
again quite awkward.
Was that Cramorant and a Roaring Moon?
I think it's Luminion.
Luminion, okay, and yeah, not wanting to bench that, not wanting to put down an easy 2 prizes for Ali. Content with 3 in the Lost Zone. That's pretty decent for turn 1.
Yeah, sees how important the Cramorant is here in this matchup, and here we see Ali just doing the same with his own Battle VIP pass. Of course, going second as well, is able to use a Colress turn 1 for him. He's possibly hoping for a Cramorant of his own.
This deck is blinding me right now, I've got to say. Looking at
a lot of gold. Ali bringing the bling for sure. And here we see Ali opting for the 2 flowers selecting, starting that Sableye. Not always ideal. Does have the 1 retreat cost, however, though, so a switch out will mitigate, you know, having that Sableye stuck in the active. Here we see the prize checking of his own here, just checking what are my options, what are my plays here, what's my strategy. You can imagine, you know, this is quite a familiar matchup, right, for a lot of our players. Lost Box has been around for a while, you know, and especially Giratina as well. You know, it's a V-Star that we've seen over and over again, so this is a matchup that our players will be familiar with.
Yeah, very, very much so. And Ali, like Todd, having a very good look just to make sure that what's actually prized. Prizes aren't really too awkward for Ali. There's like 1 Super Rod, a Sableye in there, and 1 of the Giratina V-Stars, but it's a good enough spread that, again, he's not really going to be cut off from being able to access anything. Yeah,
nothing too detrimental. Does play 2 copies of the Super Rod, so does still have 1 available to him in this matchup. And of course, here we see the Jet Energy being played here from Ali, so switching into the Comfey. We see here flower selecting, flower power being used. Yeah. Oh, another Battle VIP pass. I think that's a Giratina V-Star as well. And here we see the second Battle VIP pass being played. He's popping off here.
Yeah. Okay, no, this could be a little bit awkward now because there is 1 Giratina V-Star in the prizes, so having just lost in 1, that means there's only 1 left in deck, actually.
Yeah, there's only 1 available to him, and we saw a quite familiar issue in our stream game yesterday with Chriso as well. So this could come out to be detrimental for Ali in the later turns. You know, there's only so many options Ali will have to deal with the Iron Hands, as we spoke about earlier. So if Tord is able to get that up and running, and especially if Ali isn't going to be benching the Giratina V here as well, you know, we could see some awkward turns here for Ali.
Yeah, quite possibly. Now, Ali, after the second VIP pass, opting not to grab a Giratina V, so I think Ali is trying to go a single prize route here in the early turns, just thinking, don't want to give up any easy 2 prizes, so I just want to get out with my Cramorant, get my Radiant Greninja, and all my other single prizes. Another Comfey comes into the active, flower selecting for 1 more. Is that a Colress?
I think that was a Roxanne.
It was a... I
think that's possibly it.
It's a little hard to see. It was a supporter of some kind of just...
Possibly an Iono, I think.
Yes. There. So,
switch car into the other Comfey. We see another flower selecting here. I think that's Manaphy.
It's Manaphy and Giratina V, I think.
Oh, quite awkward.
Yeah, not very nice flower selectings here for Ali. So
again, maybe Ali doesn't know that Tord plays the Iron Hands, and again, I really don't. I don't like this either option.
No.
But opts to get rid of the Giratina V.
Well, you have to keep the Manaphy, right?
Yeah, you're kind of forced to, right? When you're staring down a Radiant Greninja as well. But of course, having a full board, you know, you have a full board already, so that Manaphy isn't going to be an option.
Yeah, it's very fortunate for Ali that Tord has 2 water energy prizes. Otherwise, Tord could go for an absolutely devastating turn here.
Yeah, Tord going for the nest ball here, just getting out that Iron Hands nice and ready. And of course, an issue here with not benching the Manaphy, even the Radiant Greninja is also a threat. Of course, not going to be able to Moonlight Shuriken with the 2 prized water energy. But again, for Ali, there's two major threats here on the board.
Yeah, there really is. Now, so if Tord can get 7 in the Lost Zone, we are without doubt seeing a Ampy very much this turn, and Tord is going to take a very early 2 prize lead. Did somebody fly across the table?
I think there was a card that flew over the table. No problem. Our players are well in tune with the game state. That's a little chuckle there as well. We love to see it.
That Battle VIP pass is gone, right? See ya.
See you later. Nest ball for the Iron Hands here, so let's see if Tord can pop off. And here we see a Colress. Big 5 here is hoping to maybe get some Mirage Gates, get that Iron Hands up and running. See a Darkness Energy. Isn't going to be wanting to get rid of that if he wants to keep Roaring Moon as an option.
Oh, that's Giratina V, actually.
Giratina V as well. I think Tord has enough options in his deck to where he can sacrifice the Giratina V, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not something... You've seen your opponent put down a board of all single prizes. You don't really... Giratina V is not going to be a focus in this matchup at all.
Yeah, playing a heavy line of Super Rod as well, playing the 3, so can easily just get that into the lost zone. Here we see an Ultra Ball hitting the lost zone as well. One more card in that lost zone, in that Mirage Gates. And now going to be active. And here we see another flower selecting. Oh,
Easy one.
yeah, easy option there. Easy option for sure.
And actually drawing out lightning energy is pretty nice. So you can, that means that can be your end attachment for turn, and then you're just a few Mirage Gates away from being able to power up this Iron Hands. But I guess the key question is, are there enough energy in the deck to actually accelerate?
Yeah, that's another problem as well.
And then there it is, Todd Seas finally.
Todd Seas likes the energy in the prizes for sure. And here we see the Heavy Ball. Hisuian Heavy Ball, such a good card in this deck. You know, it gives you the ability to not only get those basics out, which is going to be so important in Todd's deck with the amount of options he has, but also just have a peek at your prize cards, you know. And here we see the first Mirage Gate being played. Does have Pokestop in hand, so can get another one out if he manages to hit it. But here we see the Mirage Gate come down. I really like using the Mirage Gate first, you know, thinning out the deck. You know, maximizing your potential to hit another Mirage Gate from the Pokestop.
Yeah, something that's quite nice about Mirage Gate in this specific deck is because Todd plays so many different kinds of basic energy, you're almost always guaranteed to have like 2 different types, so you actually can, you know, accelerate properly. Of course, Mirage Gate you need to attach 2 different basic energy types, so you can't just attach 2 of the same. So you're more likely to be able to do that when you're playing like 5 different basic energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree. Couldn't agree more. And I like the synergy in here as well. You know, I don't have to remind our viewers, you know, with concealed cards as an option to discard, you have a plethora of Super Rod in your deck as well. You have the option there to get those energy back into the deck in order to use the Mirage Gate. Here we see a Pokestop.
1, 2.
Oh, and he hits the Mirage Gate. So important here. Does have the lightning energy in hand. I think there was another energy still in deck as well. So can Mirage Gate here for 1, or use the Super Rod to get the darkness energy back into deck?
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic Mirage Gate there. And also the other mills were Pokemon as well. So, you know, you don't mind that. You can just Super Rod those back in. Like, it's the trainers that, well, the non-item trainers that you really care about milling.
Yeah, they're still valuable resources. And does have Pulp Pad in hand as well, just as a just in case. But goes for the Cramorant there, just on the bench. Maybe we'll see a Spit innocently. Maybe doesn't want to use Ampy very much too soon.
Yeah.
What's awkward here for Ali, though, is what do you bench here? Do you bench the Giratina V? Or do you bench the Manaphy? Because Ali won't know obviously Ali won't know Todd's prizes, so won't know that Moonlight Shuriken isn't going to be an option. But I think here, it's what threat do you what's the biggest threat for you? What's your preference here?
I think so. Here's something that's interesting about Todd's list. Todd actually does not play Manaphy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if I'm Ali this turn, I'm thinking I want a Moonlight Shuriken.
Yeah, you want to be taking you want to keep the momentum going towards taking the first prize here. Ali wasn't able to use Spit innocently last turn, so wasn't able to keep up with the prize race. So going up 1 prize, you know, doesn't sound bad here for Ali, but goes for the Nest Ball for the Giratina V. Yeah. So sees that Iron Hands, realizes, oh no, oh no, that Ampy very much is going to come thick and fast here.
Yeah, you want to be able to respond on a 2 prizer by knocking it out, right? So yeah, the Giratina V absolutely makes sense to go for here. I think that maybe at this point you kind of recognize that, yeah, I want to keep the Manaphy, but at the same time, I'm not seeing much of a build towards a threat of a Greninja, so I can afford to like hold off on it for now. And so Giratina V is the more important priority.
Yeah, of course. So we see the Jet Energy come down for Ali. Another flower selecting.
Yep.
Other cards here.
Oh, was that a Path to the Peak and a
I think it was a Path to the Peak, yeah. Path to the Peak coming down. Not too much.
Oh, it was a Roxanne, actually, the other card. Okay.
It was a Roxanne, yeah. I like keeping the Roxanne here. I think Roxanne is a bigger issue for Todd to deal with than the Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak, of course, only turning off that Radiant Greninja.
Oh, although big problem here for Ali, no more ways to get cards in the Lost Zone. So no Greninja this turn, at least. It's going to be mirroring Todd's play, retreat and Spit innocently, which is also still fine. Yeah,
keeps up with the prize race, of course. But now Todd having to deal with that Giratina V as well.
Yeah, and
which is also another issue.
Oh, and there's a big problem here. If Todd goes for the attack with the Iron Hands this turn, and then Ali then responds by deciding to do Moonlight Shuriken, that Iron Hands is just going to KO the Greninja and take another 2 prizes.
Yeah.
So you kind of, depending on what Todd does at this point, you're forced to respond to the Iron Hands straight away. Otherwise, you're going to fall way too far behind.
Yeah, really true. Here we see the promotion of the Greninja escape rope off the top there for Todd. Here we see another Mirage Gate, Darkness Energy, nice Water Energy as well. I actually don't think last turn Ampy very much was an option. I think the Jet Energy was actually attached.
Oh, and then he drew the one lightning. And the other prizes. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no way to discard the lightning energy. But here we see a Moonlight Shuriken, like you said, last turn as well.
Oh, and then now, this is where
this is where this is where it gets awkward, because I even like damaging the Giratina V here as well. You know, having a little chip damage on the Giratina V star for later turns. You know, whittling down that HP is always going to be a fantastic option as well. Here we see the Poker Stop.
Oh, wow.
Lovely. Just while the Doctor ordered 3 items: Mirage Gate, Escape Rope, and I think it was a Super Rod, right?
Yeah. With this, I mean, Tord going to take like a double knockout here on 2 comfys and just stop Ali from even more from being able to get to that crucial 7 in the Lost Zone. This could get very ugly very quickly for Ali.
Certainly could. And here we see a Colress coming down. Battle VOP Pass, no use to him now. Definitely hitting that Lost Zone, and now 9 cards in the Lost Zone for Tord. Here we see another Nest Ball being played. Can opt to go for the Roaring Moon. I really like this, because this is the only way that Tord can deal with that Giratina V-Star effectively. Doesn't have any sort of damage output from any other Pokemon that can deal that massive 280 damage. So I like having the security of benching that Roaring Moon for later turns.
And important to note, the key that was enabled this turn to happen, like Tord took 1 or 2 Water Energies off the prizes. Like, were it not for that, this turn would not be possible. So Tord getting very fortunate there with the Hisuian Heavy Ball shuffle, putting the Water Energies at the bottom so he could take one, and now this play is possible.
I really like using the Moonlight Shuriken here as well, because it puts Tord in a position where he only needs 3 attacks in order to win the game. Taking 2 prizes off this Moonlight Shuriken against 2 Comphys, then an Ampu very much against another Pokemon, and then, of course, the Roaring Moon, Frenzied Gouging on the Giratina V-Star, and that's the game.
Yeah, it's what's going to be key for Ali this turn, that he did take that Roxanne earlier, and he's going to need to fight that off. If he wants any chance of a comeback, he needs to stop Tord from being able to accumulate more attackers and more resources.
And that's also live next turn, right? So if Ali can manage to knock out the Greninja here, taking consistency off the board while also disrupting the hand back to 2, you know, that could be really detrimental here, and Tord will probably hope for some sort of way out of that. And of course, with, you know, no attackers at the moment being live, you know, on his board, that could be an issue.
So Moonlight Shuriken KOs both the Comphys. Of course, we were absolutely expecting that. No more ways for Ali to get more into the Lost Zone right now, which is very tricky. Even made even more so by the fact that, you know, you want to Roxanne this turn, right? But if you're Roxanning, you're not doing a Colress experiment. So you have to somehow get 2 Comphys on the board as well as Roxanne and have enough switch outs to use them both.
Yeah, really awkward for Ali. Here we see a big Poker Gear here. He's going to be hoping to hit that Colress. Of course, Roxanne being live now, Tord is down to 3. However, like you said, does still need to get some more cards in the Lost Zone. Does fortunately hit the Colress from the Poker Gear. Yeah, that'll be very big for Ali.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate, like, because this absolutely is the turn where you want to Roxanne, but you just can't because of the double Comfy knockout. It's yeah, awkward position to be in for sure. And
it's almost like Tord's disrupting Ali now, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take out your consistency off the board, you know. I know that Tord doesn't play any disruption, doesn't play Iono, doesn't play a Roxanne, but it's still harming that consistency from Ali.
Yeah. And after this, he's really agonizing.
Really awkward, isn't it?
But really, I think you have to, right? You need to hit that 7. You need to make your Mirage Gate live. Speaking of Mirage Gate,
there it is. But you don't want to be, at the same time, you don't really want to be using Giratina V-Star on the Radiant Greninja as well. It seems like a bit of a waste, right? You're only taking 1 prize. You're not taking multiple prizes in one turn. You're not going to be knocking out any of the other threats. Moonlight Shuriken, not really that effective at the moment with no Comfey. Only Sableye is going to be an instant knockout for Tord with Moonlight Shuriken. So, you know, you're not taking a major threat off the board either.
Yeah, there's no... 130 is such an awkward number to hit, right? You either have to, like, you know, over knock it out with a Giratina, or you just fall a little bit short with attacking from both Cramorant and Sableye.
You can set up for a later turn. You can spit innocently and, you know, hope that Tord doesn't have a way of getting loads of switch cards, and then, of course, take a knockout. But here we see the Moonlight Shuriken, another Mirage Gate. This actually really surprised me, because I think that using the Mirage Gates early on, you're whittling down resources in order to keep that Giratina V-Star up and coming. So you only have 3 attackers on board. I mean, yes, you do have the Sableye, but at the moment it's not taking multiple prizes, right? It's only going to be setting up damage for later turns, and Ali will require streaming that consistently.
I mean, there are still 2 Mirage Gates left. This one was like the first one he has used, so there's definitely, like, it shouldn't be too much of an issue in the long run, but it's definitely could be awkward later on. I guess after this Mirage Gate, I imagine one is going to go onto the Radiant Greninja, of course, and then maybe attaching the other onto the active, because I don't think I saw a switching card in the hand.
You do get instant satisfaction. You do get 2 prize cards, of course. That's not a problem, but you're taking your own consistency off the board. I think that's why I'm so surprised here. I think the security option here was to just go for a simple spit innocently.
It's, but if you do a spit innocently, you're so far behind again, right?
Because, I know, it's awkward.
Tord just comes in, because no matter what happens, Tord is going to be able to come in with an Iron Hands and be able to take 2 prizes.
Yeah.
If you attack with the Greninja, at least Tord takes 2 prizes, but you also take 2 prizes.
Yeah, it's awkward, but it keeps Tord in a position where he's still taking multiple prizes regardless. Yeah, it's an awkward one. Here we see an escape rope come down.
So, I mean...
It's going to be a Comfey, I would imagine. Yeah, Comfey coming out here, realizing that, okay, my 2 bench Comfey are going to be knocked out perhaps, but at least I get a flower selecting next turn.
And I guess I was wrong. There was a switching card in hand. So, yeah, because of that, Ali able to use the Mirage Gate, the spare energy from it, put it on the Giratina, so that will be ready for a Star Requiem potentially next turn, as long as he can find a grass energy and a way to get 3 more in the Lost Zone. Yeah,
and here's another awkward decision. If Ali decides to nest ball here for another Comfey, that Moonlight Shuriken again is taking another 2 prizes.
Yeah, that's...
Yes.
But the Manphy's still in hand, right? So you can just bench it.
You can bench it, yeah, that is the option, yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine that Ali will just do that. You wouldn't bench the Comfey if you didn't also put down the mitigation to stop it at a 2 prize turn.
You'd have to bench the Manaphy here.
Yeah.
So it's looking like Tord's perhaps going for a Ampy very much next turn, I'd imagine is the option.
Yeah.
Really staring down that Roxanne. Ali was hoping to use it this turn, but that just wasn't the option. And here we see the Moonlight Shuriken taking 2 prizes here for Ali, keeping him in the race. Both now down to 3 prize cards.
Yeah, and it makes sense to go for the 2 bench ones, right? You don't want to give Tord the option of what Pokemon to have active, make him stick with the Comfeys in case he's changed his mind on which one is actually best to put active.
You can imagine as well that Tord will have a switch out, but at least it keeps him requiring more, right?
Granted, Tord has got the whole world in his hands.
of course. As we mentioned, Ali was perhaps hoping to use the Roxanne this turn, but Tord with a bit of an accordion hand. Plethora of options for him.
I think Tord's deck is, because the Mirage Gate is being played now and Tord is looking through his deck for the energy, I think Tord's deck is smaller than his hand at this point.
Yeah, I think so. But I think now only 1 Mirage Gate is an option, right? I think 3 have been used.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, actually, you see 2 in the discard pile and 1 there. So yeah, there's only 1 Mirage Gate left.
So only 1 Mirage Gate left. So an Ampy very much. Giratina V-Star into the Iron Hands, but Tord is going to be only down to 1 prize card. So this is going to be a real interesting couple of turns. And here we see a big Colress continuing to thin down the deck.
Yeah, and this is very important because I'm sure Tord knows that a Roxanne is coming, right? So the more useless cards you thin out, very easy decision there with the Giratina V-Star and the Battle VIP pass. So now if you do get Roxanne, your chances of drawing into that last Mirage Gate get higher and higher.
Yeah, having the Cramorant there as well as another attacking option to have on board. Here we see switch card Colress, I think it was. No, it couldn't have been Colress. I think he's used 3 or... Oh, no, it was a Colress. It was the last... It's the last Colress then.
Yeah.
For Tord.
Switch card going to the Lost Zone. Yeah, we do see that last Mirage Gate in hand ready to go. So with only 3 cards in deck now, there's at least a little bit of a chance for Tord to find it if he gets Roxanne. I'm sure he'll have that in mind. Deck thinning is so important in the late stages of the game.
Yeah, especially with the Lost Box. You don't want to be drawing into useless cards, especially when you're going to be Roxanne next turn. And here we see an Ampy very much.
Well, not quite yet. Benching the Cramorant, another card thinned out from the pan/slash deck.
Yeah.
Maybe he's thinking about benching 1 more.
At least here you have quite a nice escape rope play for next turn. You're taking out the Greninja, right? For that, so that's 130. So if Tord's able to find escape rope next turn, that's also an option. And here we see the 4th Mirage Gate.
Set up with the checkmate.
Yeah, this is a checkmate now for Tord, right? So even if Ali was able to bring out the Giratina V-Star, that Roaring Moon, instant frenzied gouging for 2 more prizes.
Yeah, and with that, with that, there's nothing Ali can do. Like, Ali can knock Roxanne when he wants. Tord has the game set up on board already. That Super Rod plus Mirage Gate being crucial.
Yeah. And
wow,
you'd imagine here Ali seeing the writing on the wall.
So,
This one.
okay, so Ali's line now changes slightly. What he has to do is get the KO on the Roaring Moon of a Gusting card, like a counter catcher, and Roxanne, and hope that Tord doesn't find a Gust of his own. That's the move.
You're forced to take out the Roaring Moon, but just an escape rope. The Pokestop is still in play. You know, Ali had lost zoned the path to the peak for the Roxanne as well, so it's an awkward line of play here for Ali. Only the grass energy with the Mirage Gate, that's also quite awkward.
It is a bit, but as long as he has an energy in hand, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, not going to be an option to go for Start Requiem this turn, because I think there's no easy way for Ali to get the extra free in the lost zone.
Yeah, that's right.
But still,
It's going to be forced to use Roxanne here.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah,
I think you have to put Tord down to 2.
It's Roxanne plus counter catcher, knock out the Roaring Moon, and pray. That's the line.
And yeah, you'd have to play the path to the peak as well. But this is really interesting line of play, because if you put the path to the peak down, you'll have to be drawing into that counter catcher naturally, right?
I mean, yeah, but there's also no like ability draw power on Ali's board anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. There's no Radiant Greninja.
No. As in, like, using the Pokestop to get the counter catcher.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess you could do, but at the same time, playing a path is too important, so I think you just have to hope that the 6 on the Roxanne will get you there. You don't want to risk Roxanne and not playing the path.
And also in this way, you will have to hit the path as well from the Roxanne, right?
Yeah, because, sure, path only stops Greninja, but Greninja is 2 extra draws that Tord could use to find the cards to close out the game. So it's every single card option you remove from Tord counts. So
the path to pick definitely had to come down.
So 6 cards there. Does Ali find it? One more card?
One more card. Oh, there's a counter catcher! Counter catcher. Ali is able to take the knockout here on the Roaring Moon. Lost Impact will take this out. And now it's all on Tords to find a way to get that Giratina V-Star out of the active.
Unbelievable find off the last card of the Roxanne, finding the counter catcher to KO the Roaring Moon. So now it's up to Tord. Does he have the ways to win? It's a boss!
Oh, and it's a boss!
His orders!
Does have the boss in hand for the Gust, and Tord going 1-0 here in our round 12. What a game, right down to the wire. Roxanne, it's a lie, Freya, it's a lie. Tord able to get the boss off the Roxanne to 2. That's well, what a game. What a game, yeah. Speechless.
Unbelievable. What a fantastic nail bite to end to that one. Wow. So Tord able to find off of the Roxanne to 2 the boss's orders to take the game after Ali found off the 6th card of the Roxanne the counter catcher to make the play that could keep him in. This is why we love to look at cast Pokemon.
I mean, the Roxanne to 2 is so exciting. You know, it was all about whether Tord had the options available to him to get that Giratina V-Star out of the active. Ali did what he could, right?
He did,
and that was the game plan. That was the game plan all along. The disruption, the path, did exactly what he could for this matchup, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. And you got to play 0 outs, right? Just because it didn't work for Ali doesn't mean that anything that he did was wrong. He absolutely took the correct line. Tord just proved that Roxanne was a lie again.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show the power of Tord's deck here. You know, there's so many options that were available to him. Use the Greninja, use the Iron Hands, use the Roaring Moon. There were so many options available to him. Utilized them perfectly. Mirage gated at the right time to set up these plays for the later turns. Used all of those Mirage gates pretty early on. You know, well, I say early on, in the same turn to try and set up that kind of board state to say checkmate.
Yeah, absolutely. The players are setting up now, in any case, ready for game 2. After we've got to calm things down a little bit just to come down from that excitement at the end of game 1. Ali's hand didn't look amazing. Like, the choices of starters were like a Cramorant and a Sableye, which really you don't want to start with either of those in an ideal world. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate there, but does have a Mulligan draw to work with, and does have a Chorus Experiment and an S-Ball, so maybe able to find something to work with.
Yeah, and has the energy in hand for the retreat cost next turn as well. Tord here just shuffling up, did have a Mulligan last turn. Just drawing his first 7 here as well. Tord's going to be looking for a very similar game plan to last. Has the perfect starter in the Comfey as well.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. Now, let's take a quick look at both these players' prize cards, and only 2 energy prize for Tord this time, so going to be feeling a little bit happier about that, I'm sure.
pretty fortunate for both players to not have anything too detrimental. Path to the Peak is in the prizes for Ali, so, you know, could harm the kind of game plan that he was going for last game as well. Here we see the first flower selecting escape rope, hitting that lost zone Here we see an Ultra Ball as well, getting rid of 2 energy. These are resources that Tord is able to get back with the Super Rod as well. So here, just doing a little prize check as well. A nice deck search turn 1 is always fantastic, especially with the Lost Zone as well.
Yeah, two Psych Energies in discard pile already, which actually I think they're the only 2 that Tord plays. It's so having a quick look at the list, yeah, I think it is. So a little bit awkward there, but of course you can always get them back with Super Rod, so it's really not the end of the world. Tord doing another energy check as well, thinking don't really want to end up pricing all my energy again, but this time the deck energy-wise at least being a lot kinder.
Yeah, Ali does play 3 Path to the Peak, quite a heavy line for Giratina, so 1 hitting the prizes isn't going to be too bad for him. See another Comfey, sorry, coming down for Tord. Getting rid of those 2 Psychics again. The synergy of this deck, right? You know, you've got these ways of discarding energy, but it's not a problem.
No.
You've got the Super Rod, you've got the security of that, and especially it kind of plays in turn, right, with the Mirage Gate. If you're able to Super Rod them back in, you know, it's always going to be live for you. And here we see another Flower Select. Quite awkward, Pokestop and Colress is going to opt for the Colress. So crucial for Tord. You know, being only it's a 5 supporter line, so you know it's the 4 Colress, it's the 1 boss's orders as well. So you know, utilize it, understanding the importance of each of these supporters. And here we see a double Nest Ball from Ali.
Yeah, after a great start there, able to get out a Radiant Greninja, and then probably gonna get out Comfey as well. Start doing some sort of slash selecting, set up Lost Zone nicely. And Ali does have the turn on Colress's experiment ready to go in hand as well, which is gonna be a boon for him.
He'd be hoping for a turn 1 Spit instantly as well. Getting rid of a Comfey on the board, especially with that energy attached, is going to be a nice retreat for Tord next turn. So getting rid of that will only help him further in the prize race, but also give a little bit of an issue to Tord in terms of consistency.
Also taking a quick look through with the Nest Balls, just to have a look at prizes again, realizing that, yeah, nothing too awkward to work with here. There's a couple of energies prized, so 1 grass and 1 water, so you might have to bear that in mind a little bit, but on the whole, shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, 1 Sableye well. You know, it could... There are a lot of options, of course, to get Sableye out. The 1 Sableye that he does have available to him, but could be an issue if he does have to draw into it naturally. In the later turns, perhaps Giratina V already on the bench here. I would have thought that Ali would have liked to get that down early enough last game, but it's slapped down on the board pretty early on here. And here we see perhaps a, so here we see the concealed cards, drawing 2 here, Colress and a Jet Energy. Only going to help him here. It's going to be hoping to somehow hit another Comfey perhaps. So we see,
I think that's between 2 energy. No, is it Roxanne?
No, it's Roxanne Psychic. You'd imagine he'd have to keep the Roxanne, right, if he wants to continue on that same game plan. There's only Roxanne that Ali does play. So you see another Colress. Does have Iono as well as an option for disruption as well. But just seeing the value in the Roxanne.
Yeah, but, I mean, Roxanne almost won in that game 1, right? So yeah, you definitely would want to keep that around.
Definitely want to keep it around for sure. You see a Colress as well. Giratina V-Star. Perhaps the choice here, but here we see Nest Ball and a Jet Energy. 2 quite valuable resources, I would say, in Lost Box, but again, seeing the importance of the other Comfey. Of course, we do know he does have to hit another card into the Lost Zone in order to use the Spit instantly. Does have a switch card, and also the retreat still available to him, so it does retreat into the other Comfey. And here we see another Flower Selecting. Yeah. Ooh, 2 very important cards, but I think with a full bench already, may want to get rid of the Battle VIP pass unless you want us to get maybe a Manaphy down early on.
Yeah, it's a tough one because obviously Manaphy was really did a number on you, or not put down the Manaphy meant that Radiant Greninja really did a number on you last game, and yeah, given that you play 2 counter catcher, maybe just valuing the guaranteed pickup of that Manaphy or even a second Giratina, that could be another option to go for as well. Yeah,
it does play the 2 counter catcher, so this is fine, but again, it's minimizing the potential or the options to you later in the later turns.
Yeah, and
maybe asking if he can swap over.
Yeah, he's
again going for the Battle VIP pass for the Giratina V.
Yeah, you can tell he's agonizing over it.
Yeah, I know he was flirting with the option of the Manaphy, right?
Maybe at this point thinking Tord start was a little bit slower. You know, there's only really a couple of Comfey out, and oh wait, how did he not have the switch out?
Yeah, didn't have the switch out. Yeah. So here we see another Colress coming down. Tord playing pretty fast here, wanting to rip through this deck. Battle VIP pass, you imagine, is going to be hitting the Lost Zone. Sableye also, maybe perhaps not the game plan for this turn. Can hit the Lost Zone. It is his only Sableye, so it's not going to be an option for him. Lost Mine now.
I mean, he didn't really need it last game, right?
Yeah, it's not the game plan I would have imagined. Here we see a Flower selecting. Super Rod hitting the Lost Zone. Has to keep that Iron Hands, especially if you're going to get rid of that Sableye. If you want to be making, you know, two prize card turns, going to be having to keep either one of those. And here we see a Mirage Gate coming into the hand, not seeing the value in the Forest Seal Stone.
No, there's not really any Pokemon V you want to bench this game, right? No. You don't want to bench Lumineon, you don't want to bench Giratina, so yeah, why bother with the Seal Stone?
You'd imagine he's trying to hit a Colress here, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, he started with turn with Colress.
No, he started with Colress, yeah.
Yeah, but another one would be nice.
Another one for next turn, because I think you have to start attacking soon, right? So I think, you know, I think what's awkward here is that, well, for one, Ampy very much is now active, and with 3 Mirage Gate in hand, this is going to be an option for Tord. And here we see a Mirage Gate being slapped down here.
Yeah, there's more lightning in deck, so
yeah. It is live here for Tord. We see a Lightning Energy and a Darkness being slapped down onto the Iron Hands.
And another Mirage Gate going down, and there is a switching card in hand, right?
Yeah, there's a Jet Energy in hand as well. So can opt to maybe attach to another Comfey as well as the Iron Hands, and then attach the Jet Energy to the Iron Hands itself. Get it in the active, and of course setting up a nice little pivot for the previous, for the following turns. Oh. Yeah, I really like this play. Yeah, Jet Energy onto the Iron Hands now. We'll put it straight into the active, and you can imagine an Ampy very much coming up soon.
And that's going to be a very, very good for Tord, taking an early 2-prize lead already, and especially in a situation where Ali doesn't really have, right now at least, a way to get the Giratina V-Star going. There is a Colress experiment, and there is an energy in hand, so can maybe dig for it, but I don't think I see a Giratina V-Star.
4 is a really awkward number as well, because Colress doesn't get you to the 7, so you're still forced to be getting into using a Flower selecting, but now Ali's needing a Giratina V-Star, Mirage Gates, and also a switch out. So it's pretty awkward here for Ali, but again, I can't tell you how much he has to be knocking out this Ampy very much. It's such a big threat for him.
Yeah, you have to deal with this right now. If you don't deal with this, Tord takes another 2 prizes next turn, and then suddenly you are way, way far behind. So it needs to be Giratina V-Star or bust. 5 cards off the top from the Colress experiment. Does he find a way to get the Giratina V-Star?
Does he find a way? 2 energy, pretty awkward. And a Psychic, oh well, and a Psychic as well. I think there's 4 energy here. 3 energy, sorry.
Yeah, it's 3, and then I can't quite see what that the last card is.
Again. Perhaps a Colress?
The glare too much. Oh, there is the Giratina V-Star in hand already.
And there was there was a Giratina V-Star in hand already. Okay. But is forced now to find Switch Out and Mirage Gates, but there's nothing there for Ali, unfortunately.
No, there's a Path. There's some other gold card, I guess. Maybe we can find out concealed cards.
Have the concealed cards. Manaphy and a Path of the Pig. Oh, these are really awkward here. This is really awkward for Ali.
So I think there is a Jet Energy in hand, so what you can do is just Mirage Gate and then Jet to the active, but you need to, if you're going to do this, then there has to be enough energy in the deck. So there's 1 grass in the discard pile, there's 1 in the prizes. Is there going to be enough? Yeah, I think you have to Super Rod first. Yeah,
you have to Super Rod first, get those energy back into the deck. Again, I'm talking about the awkwardness. It's you know, it's how you play this out, right? You know, you're using resources. You have to get rid of the Iron Hands. You couldn't escape rope for a simple spit innocently. You're being forced to use the Giratina V-Star, and now it's going to be whether Tord can react with a big knockout with the Roaring Moon again.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an okay turn from Ali. It is. You've done what you needed to do, right? You needed to answer the Iron Hands, and you have the means to do that. But it's now a matter of what comes next. There is a bench slot free, so maybe now Ali goes for this Manaphy, fearing that maybe Tord could respond with a Radiant Greninja, and yet we do see the Manaphy go down now. And I guess after that, it is just going to be Lost Impact. Yeah,
I do like the Manaphy coming down, mitigating the risk of the Radiant Greninja. I think other than knocking out the Giratina V-Star, it was the only way that Tord could take multiple prizes this turn. So unless Tord can manage to conjure up a Roaring Moon EX, Tord may only be taking 1 prize here if he's lucky enough. But here we see Colress, another Battle VIP pass
Yeah, that'll be an easy choice.
The Lost Zone, yeah.
And then maybe thinking about a Dark Energy. That might make things a little bit awkward because then you have 2 in the discard pile already. I guess if you have a Super Rod, it's fine. But otherwise, might be a little bit. Oh, there's a Super Rod from.
Yeah, there's a Super Rod. Yeah, there's a Super Rod in hand. There is Mirage Gate as well, but needs to be hitting the Roaring Moon somehow.
Yeah, and needs to be from this Pokestop or Giratina
V-Star with a 1/1 Giratina hitting the discard pile. Not a bad, not too bad for Tord.
It's 3 cards out the way. I guess.
didn't need it last game, so not a problem. Oh, 2 really awkward cards to get into the flower selecting, Boss's Orders and the Radiant Greninja.
But you have to go with Greninja, right?
You have to have the consistency, right? If you're taking multiple prizes, you still have to hit the Roaring Moon.
Yeah, and that was a VIP and a
Mirage Gate. So no options. Can of course spit innocently this turn. But you want to be taking those multiple prizes.
Yeah, but with that, I don't think a Roaring Moon is going to happen this turn.
No. And now, if passing over to Ali without taking prizes here, it's giving Ali the option to just use Moonlight Shuriken, right, for multiple prizes.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit awkward. There is 1 Water Energy in the Lost Zone, so Ali has to make sure that he can it is 1 in hand, so I guess he could gate 1 and then attach the other. Yeah. But it is absolutely possible.
Yeah, hit Lumineon from the flower selecting there. Another Bell VIP pass hitting the Lost Zone, which is always good to see. Tord's just conjuring up any sort of idea here. Yeah, what he can do.
There's no amazing line, I think it's safe to say.
Palpad getting 2 Colress back into the deck.
It's the card you always want to see, right? Just Colress again and again.
Doesn't shuffle up. You can imagine a Luminous Sign maybe coming out here.
Okay, interesting going for that now.
Deck. 3 Colress still in the deck.
Yeah.
Unfortunate not to be hitting any in the hands via flower selecting or concealed cards. Forced to use the Luminous Sign, sorry. And this is again another weird turn of events where Tord's got a 2 prizer on the bench, and that could be quite tasty for Ali if he's able to find any sort of gusting option.
Here's an interesting card, Energy Recycler. Not one that's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit in these Lost Zone toolbox decks ever since Super Rod came out. Does let you get back 5 basic energy. So
I think the reason for this is the Kyogre.
Yes,
right? So the Kyogre having that option, it's invaluable, right? Getting those 5 energy back into the deck. The Aqua Storm. It just makes it that much better, of course.
So Tord just Mirage Gated onto the minion. I think we're going to see an Aqua return this turn.
I think that's the safe play, right? Because you want to be getting that 2 prize off the field as soon as possible. But I think what's awkward here is that a Mirage Gate has been used, and it's not going to be used that effectively. Of course, you're doing that 120 poke, but... sorry, the 120 poke, but you're not taking prizes here.
No, and also 160 is like... It's not a nice 2-shot number, right? Like it's 160. What do you have in your deck that does 160? Not really much.
You do have Arm Press, so Arm Press is an option with the Iron Hands, but still quite an issue for Tord to get out. You know, he still needs a lot of pieces to the puzzle in order to use that. You use 1 Mirage Gate on the Lumineon again, not that great.
Yeah, so. Okay, very important decisions here for Ali. Opted to go for the Chorus Experiment, did find the other Water Energy, so now it's going to be very important for Ali to discard that with Conceal card so he can Super Rod it back in so he can make most use of this Mirage Gate.
And I think the main problem here for Tord as well is that 3 Mirage Gates have been used. So now, with that Mirage Gate in hand, he must be thinking, right, what's the best way I can utilize this?
Hold on, is Ali thinking of foregoing the Water Energy?
Going for the Water Energy, yeah.
So, but now he can't Moonlight Shuriken anymore. There's 2 waters in the Lost Zone. He only plays 3.
So with 3, you only need to use 2, right?
Yeah, but there's 2 in the Lost Zone.
Oh, there's 2 in the Lost Zone. Yeah. There's 2 in the Lost Zone, so now Moonlight Shuriken not an option. So Ali unable to take multiple prizes this turn.
I guess maybe Ali thinking that that's not the right move to go for. Maybe there's something we're missing here. But like it would seem to me like Moonlight Shuriken would be the best option here.
Yeah, for sure. I think here the map, the ideal prize map for Ali is to take 2/2/2, right?
But no.
I'm not seeing the value in it. Manual attachment to the Giratina, which is also awkward because, of course, with only 9 in the Lost Zone, Star Requiem can't be used either.
No.
And he hit in Pokestop, Colress, Boss, Mirage Gate.
Oh.
Again, not fantastic.
Support is the worst thing, just about the worst thing to discard from your Mirage Gates. Can't get those back in, from the Pokestops, rather.
Yeah, it doesn't play Palpad either, so no way to recover that Boss's Orders or the Colress either.
No, that's not going to work.
9 in the lost zone.
Okay,
there was 10.
Okay.
No, 11, sorry.
Yeah, our counter wasn't updated. There we go. So.
That's absolutely fine. Here we see Confei being promoted, just drawing the back into another energy recycler. And what's the line here for Tord now?
Okay, I'm trying to think back a little bit to Ali. Maybe Ali didn't have a way to get this Giratina out the active. Maybe that's why the Moonlight Shuriken wasn't viable.
I still like that play, though. I was really surprised because
No, but if you can't retreat yeah, because you only have switch cart, right? So if you don't have a way to retreat the Giratina, then you can't do the Moonlight Shuriken. Maybe you just didn't have enough energy resources to both attach to the Giratina to retreat and do the Moonlight Shuriken.
Maybe keeping the Mirage Gates as an option as well for the Giratinas rather than the Radiant Greninja. But again, having the option to take multiple prizes in one turn. Yeah, quite interesting decisions here being made. And you see a Spit Innocently from Tord. Again, keeping that Mirage Gate for a later option. Of course, only having one now, it's all about how do I use this in the best fashion. What's my method here?
I mean, what could be Reno to Tord if he hadn't lost on his Sableye is to do a Lost Mine next turn, but of course that option no longer available to him because of the Sableye going away.
And this is when we talk about the Lost Box mirrors, you know, or the Lost Box archetype mirrors, I should say. I know this isn't strictly a mirror match with the Giratina V-Star and this kind of box-style deck, but this is where these fine lines are placed. It's all about resource management, right? Exactly what we think about. There's 2 water energies hitting the Lost Zone. Means now, you know, Ali has a couple of awkward turns. Now Tord using 3 Mirage Gates is also, you know, going to hinder his game plan just a little bit more as well. And here we see a lost impact on Cramorant as well. Again, not the fashion you maybe want to be using it.
No.
Only 1 prize card on that kind of small Pokemon, but Roaring Moon in the hand as well now for Tord.
I guess the one thing that is the saving grace for Ali is that, so we did see that boss's order hit the Lost Zone. I do believe that the Tord only plays 1, so...
Yeah, Tord only plays 1.
So there's an option for Tord to like power up a Roaring Moon and gust the other Giratina V-Star to win the game in that regard. So, you know, Tord is going to knock out this Giratina here, and it's going to go down to like, you know, 2 prizes each. But then Ali could, in theory, just knock out 2 more single prizes and win the game that way.
The boss's orders hit the Lost Zone for Tord.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
yeah, in full agreement. That's fine.
Yeah, so
see another Colress from Tord, drawing 5 here, big 5 cards.
Ooh, a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy. And this is exactly the kind of position that we saw Tord in last. You know, he's running through the deck, and now resources are starting to run out slowly.
Yeah.
You know, options, you know, they're becoming less and less as the game goes on. Of course, when everything was live, you have, you know, your ideal setup. You have 7 or 10 in the Lost Zone. You know, everything's hunky-dory. But, you know, as the game goes on, you're forced to be using these resources, and sometimes it just doesn't go, you know, quite right.
Is Tord maybe thinking of finishing off the game by perhaps doing, I don't know, you get back the Iron Hands doing Escape Rope, or oh, maybe you get your Giratina line back. Yeah. Okay, this could also work.
You can get the Giratina line back out, but with only 1 Mirage Gate, I think it would be a Spit Innocently here on the Giratina V-Star, taking a knockout. You know, keeping the board in a position where Ali can't take multiple prizes in 1 turn. We know the Moonlight Shuriken, again, not an option for Ali, so forcing the 1 prize board state.
Maybe finish off an Iron Hands.
But in order to use the Giratina, the Iron Hands.
The players letting.
And that's very awkward.
Literally the 2 cards you just got back. Oh, and then again,
fantastic.
Now Iron Hands isn't an option either. Wow, yeah, that's very, very strange game, this one.
But I think with all these players running through my mind right now, so manual retreat into the Cramorant, Spit Innocently for knockouts, and does still have the Roaring Moon in hand with the Mirage Gate.
Yeah.
So I think that's the line of play here for Tord, but I wouldn't have thought that this would have been the position we're in with the amount of resources that have been used, but just holding on, I guess. And the Giratina V hitting the bench.
Yeah, there was another Super Rod just there.
Yeah, there was another Super Rod. So, again, this is... Okay, so going for the Giratina V route will mean that Ali will be able to take game next turn, but will need quite a lot.
Yeah, but Todd has to do this because he needs an option to KO the other Giratina V-Star. So, like, having to go for it right now. And there is a switch card. Spit Innocently will finally finish off that Giratina V-Star. Free hit KO coming in.
And in the same token now, Ali with Boss's Orders in the discard pile. Gust not an option, so...
Yeah, of course, they're even on prizes, so no counter catcher. So actually, Todd's pretty safe here.
Yeah, Todd's pretty safe. You'd imagine a Spit Innocently coming out here, having the security of the fact that Todd has no Gust himself. Ali's still able to take a prize here to keep up with the race, but just checking the discard pile, how many energy are still in there? 2 psychic energy, quite a few energy in the lost zone as well to boot.
That Pokestop discarding the sword is really, really hurting right now.
Very, very awkward. Very, very awkward. I mean,
if you can dig for that, maybe you can power up a Giratina, Boss's Orders a Giratina V, and then you can actually tie up this series. But as it stands right now.
Yeah. Oh, and we just have just a short issue that the judges brought up, which we're looking to just satisfy that just quickly here, keeping alive of the game state here from our judges, but we'll wrap that right up for you. But looking at the game state now, so Ali had no option to Gust, has the Cramorant on the bench, still able to take that 1 prize, but for Todd, in the same token, doesn't have Gust himself. No. Didn't also have another Cramorant as well, so unable to take 1 prize. They're both in this kind of one-upsmanship situation.
Yeah, a little bit, and it's going to be like we're very close to time as well. That's an important note.
That's another important.
There's only 3 minutes left, so we're at that stage now where every single mini fort counts.
Yeah. And this is exactly what we said with the Lost Box variants. When they're facing off with each other, it's all about who can utilize the resources more efficiently. Am I using my Mirage Gates correctly? My switch outs, how many do I have left? What are my disruption options? It's all those little nuances that make this matchup what it is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and it's all about keeping up to date with what options are available to me. We see this now with the Gusting options, but also with Todd with the Mirage Gates, using 3 earlier in the game, in order to use the Ampy very much, and now with only 1 available to him. It's all about keeping that as closely in your hand as possible. You're really cherishing that resource as the game goes on. But I wouldn't have known where that would have gone. No, really.
No, neither would I. There's some very, very strange turns over the course of that game.
Yes.
So I think it went in a direction we weren't really expecting, it's safe to say, for either player for that matter. And these final few turns, I mean, this could really, really go either way. I really can't wait to see the end of this game. So
when I saw that second water hit the lost zone, I was thinking, no, he's in the middle of a decision here. I would have thought, no, you can't lost zone that. That's your only way to take multiple prizes. And I think if that were still an option, of course, didn't have to switch out for that turn.
No.
But if you were able to keep that, take the multiple prizes next turn, in this turn specifically, if you were able to use it last, you would have been in a situation where only 1 prize card was required for your next turn. Yeah. So it would have put Ali in a great position, but these are these little micro decisions, especially with these Lost Box variants. You're playing the Colress, you're playing the Flower Selecting. We spoke about it earlier in the caster Lounge. It's these little decisions whereby you're getting rid of resources and you're saying, ta-ta, bye-bye, because you cannot get them back. No. Right? And it's these little decisions that make the game what it is.
Yeah, it really is. Now, just whilst this little sort of judge thing is going on, we're going to take a little quick break to the video. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back soon with the outcome of this game.
Hi, I'm Shay Burton, and today I'm going to run you through why I love the Paradox Rift expansion. First of all, Paradox Rift introduces a new Future and Ancient mechanic. These are new classifications of cards that also have different cards there ready to support them. Very similar to the Single, Rapid and Fusion Strike mechanics of the past. Let's start off with the new big scary Future card, Iron Hands EX. Ampu very much deals 120 damage for 1 lightning and 3 colorless energy. However, if you KO something with damage from this attack, you can take 1 extra prize card. This is devastating for 1 prize attacking decks, since you can swing the prize trade back into your favor. However, 1 card that 1 prize decks are starting to use to combat Iron Hands is Cloth. Its Unhinged Scissors attack is perfect for cutting through Iron Hands like hot butter, since Unhinged Scissors does 30 plus 160 damage if Cloth is affected by a special condition. This is very easy to fulfill by playing a spicy seasoned curry. This will burn Claw, which is now swinging for 190 damage or 170 after a double turbo energy attachment, which is fine because after applying weakness, it KOs Iron Hands EX in one hit. Another card Cloth players can use is Luxurious Cape. This is a very fun card that when attached to a non-rule box Pokemon gives it an extra 100 HP. But they do give up an extra prize card when they get KO'd. This would give Claw from earlier 220 HP or give Snorlax 250 HP. It would also give Sableye a terrifying 180 HP, making Luxurious Cape one new tool that Lost Box decks might start to use. However, they do have to be careful of the new Giratina card because this prevents all damage counters placed on your Pokemon from your opponent's basic Pokemon. This makes Lost Mine useless if your opponent was to have Giratina in play. One deck that will definitely be playing Giratina is Gardevoir, but they also might opt to play Screamtail. Roaring Scream does 20 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon for each damage counter on the Screamtail. With Psychic Embrace from Gardevoir EX being absolutely perfect for getting 8 damage counters on Screamtail, Gardevoir players will have access to a very easy 160 damage, which they can also use to target the bench too. Another card Gardevoir players can now use is the Evolution TM. This is a tool card that provides a 1 energy colorless attack to the Pokemon it is attached to, and this attack will allow you to evolve any 2 of your bench Pokemon by 1 stage. This will allow Gardevoir players going second on their first turn of the game to immediately get 2 Curlier into play, all ready to draw cards later on. But they will have to be careful of the new Devolution card that allows you to de-evolve all your opponent's Pokemon by 1 stage, also for 1 colorless energy too. Iron Valiant EX has the ability Tachyon Bits, which lets you place 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon whenever it hits the active. This allows you to get a potential 80 extra damage in a turn, as long as you have enough Iron Valiant EX in play and enough switching cards to maneuver around them. Medicham V's Yoga Loop slots perfectly into an Iron Valiant deck, since it can allow you to skip your opponent's next turn as long as the 2 damage counters that Yoga Loop places KOs one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can even use Xatu to help power up Iron Valiant so it can attack too. While its attack Laser Blade only does 200 damage, which isn't that great, it is good enough when you sprinkle in all the extra damage from Tachyon Bits. Xatu has the ability Clairvoyant Sense, which allows you to attach a Psychic Energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Then you also get to draw 2 cards as well. This kind of a deck could destroy evolution decks like Charizard. However, Charizard does have a new tool too, Skeldurge EX. Skeldurge EX has the ability Incendiary Song, which allows you to discard a 5 energy from your hand. And if you do, your Pokemon do an extra 60 damage this turn. This helps improve Charizard EX's low damage output in the early game. One card that has no problem with damage output though is Roaring Moon EX. Frenzied Gouging for 3 energy actually KOs whatever your opponent has in the active, but it does deal 200 damage to itself, leaving Roaring Moon with 30 HP. Although you can play Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to boost Roaring Moon's HP by 60, leaving it with 90 after a Frenzied Gouging. Calamity Storm does 100 damage plus 120 damage if you discard a Stadium, giving Roaring Moon a nice backup attack also. Professor Sader's Vitality will help you get energy attached to your Roaring Moon, or any ancient Pokemon, since it lets you attach 1 basic energy from your discard pile to 2 of your ancient Pokemon in play, and then draw 3 cards afterwards. This, in combination with Dark Patch, will allow Roaring Moon to attack as early as turn 1. Another card that has no problem with damage output is Golden Go EX. Its Make It Rain attack does 50 damage for each basic energy card you discard from your hand. It is very easy to get a ton of energy in your hand with cards like Superior Energy Retrieval. Golden Go's ability, Coin Bonus, also helps you draw cards, allowing you to draw 1 card or 2 cards if Golden Go is in the active. Counter Catcher is also set to return to the format. Counter Catcher is an item card that when you are behind on prize cards let you swap your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, allowing for combat decks like Gardevoir to have a fantastic means of swapping their opponent's active. Whew. And that rounds up some of the best cards from Paradox Rift. Will any of these cards do well here this weekend? There's only one way to find out, and that's by watching this stream.
Hey Pokemon trainers, my name is Benjamin and I'm here to talk to you about an important TCG strategy called prize mapping. First of all, what is prize mapping? Prize mapping is the conscious act of solving your most efficient way to victory in any Pokemon TCG game. We all know that Pokemon is a game of 6 prize cards. However, the contemporary metagame will always be represented by Pokemon which, when knocked out, could provide the player with either 1, 2, or even 3 prize cards. So in light of this, it'll require players to strategize their approach to taking prizes while playing. Much like prize checking or even sequencing, prize mapping and understanding your route to victory and what Pokemon you need to knock out in order to achieve your win is something that is held to the highest importance among all of our experienced players. So how does prize mapping look practically, and how can we relate this to the current metagame? Well, a deck that takes advantage of having a fantastic time prize mapping is of course Lost Box. Lost Box utilizes a plethora of powerful one-prize Pokemon, most notably in Sableye and Cramorant. So why is using one-prize Pokemon such a large advantage? While their opponent is only taking 1 prize card against a certain Pokemon, this ultimately means that the opponent will require 6 whole turns of attacking to take all of their prize cards, making it difficult to win within the same time frame that it takes for the Lost Box player to complete their strategy. Other than this fact, Lost Box is also fantastic at abusing its ability to spread damage efficiently across the board, allowing Pokemon like Sableye, Greninja, or even Kyogre to take multiple prizes in 1 turn, normally resulting in Lost Box taking 6 prize cards quicker than their opponent. Other than Lost Box, another deck we've also seen recently laying down the law with their opponents in its awkward prize mapping strategy is Arceus V-Star, coupled up with a few of its friends in Umbreon and Duraludon VMAX. And you guys at home may be thinking, Ben, how can a deck that only uses 2 and 3 prize Pokemon take advantage of prize mapping? This deck doesn't play any 1 prize Pokemon. And you're right to ask. Decks that possess these Pokemon can take advantage of the prize race simply by placing only 3 of its high prize value Pokemon on the field. Ordinarily, a board state for these decks will only present 1 Arceus and 2 of its powerful VMAX Pokemon, forcing the opponent into what players call an 8 prize card game, making it harder for their opponents to deal with such large Pokemon and leaving them with no other option but to try and knock out the Pokemon in front of them. Commonly, players will play certain Pokemon that can take heavy knockouts on Pokemon with very high hit points like Raichu V and its massive dynamic spark attack, or Pokemon that can take multiple knockouts by spreading their damage across multiple Pokemon, like Kyogre and its Aqua Storm attack. And it's not just Pokemon that can be used by our players, but trainer cards too. For example, cards like Echoing Horn can bring Pokemon from an opponent's discard pile, helping players that are struggling to keep up with the prize race by bringing back Pokemon from their discard pile back onto the field. And even stadiums like Collapse Stadium will help players with their board state, mitigating the risk of having vulnerable 2 or even 3 prize Pokemon on their bench, thus manipulating their opponent's prize mapping strategy. So now that we know how certain decks, Pokemon, and trainers can alter the prize mapping strategies of our trainers, let's look at an example of one of our past games. During our most recent Toronto Regional Championships in Round 9, we saw Logan McKay's Turbo Lost Box deck up against Yehoshua Tate's Qian Power EX deck. On the face of it, you'll see that the main attack of Yehoshua's deck is of course Qian Power EX, a 2 prize Pokemon. And as we've already established, this may not fare so well against the powerful single prize Pokemon within Logan's Lost Box. So, what can Yehoshua do to help his prize mapping strategy? With a few tricks up their sleeve, they were able to take multiple prizes against their opponent by utilizing 2 plays of Trickery, using both Cancelling Cologne, negating Manaphy's bench protecting wave ability, and knocking out 2 Pokemon with a single attack, with Raging Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken. With low hit point Pokemon littering Logan's field and 2 copies of Cancelling Cologne, Yehoshua happily helped themselves to 2 easy prize cards and continued to get ahead of the prize race, showing a perfect example of how both certain Pokemon and trainer cards can help any trainer with their prize mapping strategy. With this summary and more tips, you'll be able to take your game to the next level. I really hope this helps you in understanding the importance of prize mapping and helps you win more games more efficiently. Who doesn't want to win quicker than their opponent? Until next time, trainers, catch you later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Guess the Pokemon!
where where we're going to be playing a game where these guys here from all the different games are going to be have to guessing which Pokemon I'm describing with their Pokedex entry, followed by a few tips if they need it.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm very good at these game shows.
Oh, wow.
I'm confident. You guys are playing for second place at the end of the day.
That's what I figured when I entered this competition.
Okay, guys, it's a common sight around fishing ports, and it's known to rescue people and help fishers carry what they caught.
Floatzel.
Straight away. Congratulations. VG on top to start things off.
That's a good one.
Floatzel.
Wouldn't have guessed that in a minute.
You guys hadn't even processed what I'd said yet.
No. I also completely forgot everything already.
I was going to go Pelipper. Could have been a Pelipper.
Know your Pokedex, guys. What can I say?
Golly, wow. 1-0 down already. Weren't expecting that.
To be fair, I was surprised how quickly it came to my mind.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. It's like you knew already.
That definitely couldn't be. No. Don't be ridiculous.
I promise. I did not. Absolutely
Okay.
promise.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Here we go.
Next Pokemon. Hiding in their shadows at night, it absorbs their heat. The chills it causes makes its victims shake.
Trevenant.
No?
Phantom.
Oh, wait, how many guesses do we get?
You have a few guesses. Just fire them at me.
Gengar.
I wanted... Is it?
It's Gengar.
Back in the race.
Point to TCG.
I'm just keeping it entertaining for you guys. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? First to two. Can't just actually get two in a row.
Okay,
So-
Shay. Okay. You've proven yourself, Leo. You're still...
Leo's just
You're
here
not
for the
off the
vibes.
I had a good guess. I mean,
Anyway, yeah,
you went for a crazy
thought
ghost
it
type,
might-
right?
I thought it might be Trevenant, to be fair.
Trevenant made sense.
Yeah.
It did.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a lot of Gengar entries over the years, though, as well.
Yeah, true. Fan favourite, you know, Gen 1. A lot of people like Gengar.
Yeah.
But we have seen a lot of Trevenant in Pokemon Go so far in the last season.
Okay.
So that's why my mind was at Trev.
We did see a competitive Trev card back in the day as well. You know, Forest Curse. Item lock to your opponents. That was intimidating Pokemon, that one.
Trevenant's never really been in VG, to be honest. Even though Forest Curse, it could have some niches.
Right. Pokemon 3. The cheerful spirit of its trainers gives it power towards its psychokinetic energy. It spins and dances when it's happy.
One's on.
Claydol.
Boink.
Oh, no. Some good guesses, though.
Or
Grumpig.
Psychic.
No, not quite.
Jinx.
Psychic. Hatena.
Well,
Hatterene.
I'll give you your first tip.
Okay.
It's a psychic and fairy type.
Yeah.
Psychic.
So,
Hatterene.
not Impidimp.
Oh, I don't know these.
I'm not even close.
Two new fairy types.
Psychic Fairy. There are loads of those.
Gardevoir. Curlia.
It's damn.
It's Palia! There we go!
That's very
Let's
good.
go.
Very popular Pokemon right now in the TCG,
Yeah, just-
so a bit of an advantage there for our TCG
you know
rep.
actually how I got that one? Because in the Curlia card, the refinement card, it looks like she's dancing. I thought, psychic fairy dancing?
Yeah,
Why did you get it straight away then?
fair enough.
I don't play Gardevoir, that's why.
Carry on, or is that? So that's that round there of Guess the Pokemon TCG coming out on top with 2 points there. VG just the one and go. Unfortunately,
Oh no.
but I'm sure we'll be having more fun with the rest of the regional, so go enjoy yourselves, guys.
Hello, Pokemon trainers. I'm Charlie Merriman, and I'm joined by Amanda and Ben from Go and TCG, respectively. And we're going to have a chat about how exciting it is to see Pokemon events have such fantastic attendance in recent years. Ben, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I think at the high level, as soon as Honolulu was announced, I think all the TCG players were just scrambling to see when their next local events are. And not only that, but I think with the increased prize pool, the travel awards still being an option as well, I think players now more than ever are just looking to get right into the competitive play. And, you know, we can only see that with the increasing numbers. So, yeah, I think as well as the game just being in such a good place right now, you can see why it's just ever popular. Amanda, what about Go?
Well, Go, I mean, we're the newcomers to the scene, right? We've only been at it since the 2022 season, but it's been really impressive, especially we've seen it in Europe because, I mean, I think about it, Liverpool was the very, very first one a couple years ago. Now we're already at capacity for a couple of our events. Yeah. Normally our day 2s are top 8s, but lately we've even seen some top 16s. And I believe the Latin America International Championship this year was 256, which was at full capacity. So it's really exciting, and it's only going to continue to grow from there. It's our first year with championship points. It's our first year with locals. So, I mean, pay attention because Go is going to be kicking off. What about VGC?
Well, like you've been saying, it's been incredibly exciting seeing so many players at these events and everyone getting involved in the fun. Yeah, the tickets for all of these events always disappear in a matter of minutes. And I just think, you know, to be able to enjoy the game, share the love for the game with friends, you know, it's endless amounts to talk about. There's so much going on, and sharing the passion with everyone is so exciting. And we've a recent development over the past couple of years is having day 2 Swiss rounds rather than just having day 2 reserved for the top 8. And that means that you have even more opportunities to play against players who have a similar record to you, and just learn from them. You can get so much more out of the tournament, and there's so much learning to be done. It also means, of course, that the metagame develops that much faster, because everyone is trying to counter what's done well, and then they try and counter that, and then some people are 5 steps ahead, and yeah, easy to get lost amongst it. But yeah, it's such an exciting time for the scene.
Yeah. I think, like, most people joke around, getting a ticket is your round 1. Yeah. You know, we see that joke a lot at the moment, you know, and it's totally right. You know, we just have so much increased competition, and everybody wants to participate. And like you said, they want to get better. They want to play, you know, some of the best in the world. And, you know, we see representation, especially in the EU this season, from all over the place. We've had people from NA, we've had people from Australia as well. You know, is that something that you get with Go or VG?
Yep.
Or?
We've got a lot of people coming over, and a lot of Europeans are also going to the US or down to Latin America as well to have some sort of a qualifying, especially, like we said, introducing championship points was a really, really big deal for Go in the sense. And I know a lot of people have already qualified just by the championships alone, and which is incredible. In the past seasons, it was only the first place person who qualified, and second place qualified, and it cascaded down. This time it's only the first, and we have to get the points just like in your other games as well.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's so fantastic that trainers are given the opportunity to see so much of the world through playing this game, and going to places that people might not have even considered visiting before, and traveling around and making those memories with friends, experiencing a new culture. I mean, that's what the game is all about.
Sure.
And on that note, that seems like an appropriate place to wrap up. So thank you for joining us for this segment, trainers. Make sure you check out which events are going on near you, or not near you, as we've been saying, and make sure you get involved in the action. We'd love to see you at an event very soon. But we'll be getting back to the action right here very shortly.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We've got a bit of an update for you on the judge call there. So it does seem like there is an investigation for a decklist error going on right now. So currently, one of the towards deck is being taken away for a deck check, and that's whilst that's going on, where we can just keep you company here. Yes,
you can chill. We can have a little bit of a chat. Yeah, unfortunately these things happen, but it's not a problem. We do have judges galore here at Stuttgart, and they're ever present. Of course, they do such a fantastic job. But Freya, let's have a little bit of a chill again. Let's talk about the meta. Going into this meta, day 1, of course, there were no surprises with some of the top decks, you know, your Charizards, your Miraidons, your Gardevoirs. But of course, Giratina V-Star, I think that's the big surprise going into this tournament. We saw it in Gdansk, but it wasn't that highly represented. It didn't have a fantastic conversion rate either. But why do you think there are people that have brought this deck, thought that this was the best choice for them, and of course, went on a storm with it?
I think it's just people realizing that the deck never really got worse, right? I think it's kind of people realizing, and like we talked about earlier when we started off today, counter catcher is so huge for this deck, because the amount of times where this is one of the decks that's one of the best at making use of Roxanne, right? You know, a Roxanne in the late game, plus combined with a very strong attacker in Giratina, puts you in a very good stead. But sometimes it faltered where, at that same turn where you needed a Roxanne, you needed to take out a very fearsome and big threat on the bench.
Yeah.
With counter catcher now be a thing, you can do that. You can Roxanne and bring something up on the same turn. And I think that sort of 1-2 punch is it's such a small thing, but I think it makes a huge difference in the power level of Lost Zone Giratina V-Star.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I saw somebody testing it just on the Friday before these regional championships. They were testing it, they were going through the game, they were 4 prize cards down, and they were like, oh, I'm just going to scoop. And I was like, no, wait a minute. You've got Roxanne, you got Path, just see how this goes. And they ended up winning, and that's exactly the sort of game plan. You know, it just seems when will we learn?
Yeah.
Giratina V-Star, you know, the comeback mechanic. When will people learn? You know, it's never going to go down easily, you know, with those certain comeback mechanics. And now with the addition of Countercatcher, like you said, it still has Roxanne as well as the addition of Iono now as well. You know, it has so many options, and with that awkward HP of the Giratina V-Star, it's a big boy to take down. You're only getting 2 prizes if you knock it out. It's got 2 fantastic attacks, so we can see why it has its kind of cult following.
And to that exact point, if we go now over to the day 2 deck analysis, look at that jump up in percentage.
Yeah, huge.
Like Lost Zone, Giratina V-Star, by far having one of the most impressive conversion rates out of all the day 1 decks.
Yeah, we see the kind of the 3 biggest decks, I would say, in the format. We have the Charizard, we have the Miraidon, we have Gardevoir as well, still sticking around. I think because it has such a high representation, you will always see the representation into day 2, but it's all about those decks outside of this 3, which it's, you know, who are the biggest losers? Who are the biggest winners here? I'd say the biggest loss that we have in our day 2 now is Mew VMAX. It's straight off the board, right? It's not in our top. It's not in our top 6 represented. But the biggest winners here, Inteleon VMAX with the Urshifu Rapid Strike. What's your take on this? Because I know you're such a big fan of the Entei Iron Valiant, right? We spoke about this before in the introduction. It's kind of the same strategy done differently. Why do you think people maybe favor the Inteleon Urshifu instead of the Iron Valiant?
I guess ultimately you're just dealing with bigger HP Pokemon, right? You know, you have both Inteleon and Urshifu have absolutely huge amounts of HP, and that's not really something you ever like sort of pass up. Especially some of this make use of Cheryl. You can use to like heal off those Pokemon when they take a lot of damage. So there's definitely something to be said for that. Also the fact that you have such a fearsome attacking Gale Thrust as well with the Urshifu. Like 154 energy is insanely efficient.
Yeah, and we're forgetting G-Max Rapid Flow. You know, it's ever present. It's always coming in and out of the formats. I think it has such a strong attack, 120 to 2 Pokemon. It has different options available to it as well with supporters like Melanie. It of course has Octillery as well, you know, ever present in that deck. You know, just a deck search for a Rapid Strike card, so powerful. We talk about these sort of abilities in which, you know, they let you go into your deck and find a card, you know, so powerful.
Now, we do have word back from the judge now. We can confirm what happened. So, the deck check's been performed, and Todd has received a game loss for playing an Ultra Ball instead of a Nest Ball. So, there was a minor deckless error there, playing an Ultra Ball instead of a Nest Ball. So, now so there'll be a game loss there. We're going back into the game at 1-1, and now things will proceed.
Yeah, and, you know, we saw the game plans being utilized back in the 2 games that we saw. You know, of course, the game was cut a bit short in our last one, but I think both of these players now familiar with the game plans of each other, and now they'll be fully in tune with what each other are trying to do.
Yeah, although there is of course one small thing here, which is there isn't a lot of time left on the clock, so unless one of these players can win very quickly on the first few turns, we are probably going to see this match end in a tie.
Yeah, we're just going to get confirmation as well as whether that time will be extended with that judge call, but we'll get that confirmation shortly. But here we see both of our players just shuffling up for game 3 here now. And, you know, going into this now, so of course Ali would have taken that win, so he'll be deciding whether to go first or second here. This is always a conversation that's been coming up now with Lost Box, right? Do you want the ability to use a supporter turn 1, or do you want to give, you know, your option of evolving first to your opponent?
Yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one. Yeah, and also we got an update. The time is correct. Of course, when the judge call happened, I think the timer was paused. And
okay,
well, is it? Oh, okay, there we go, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So both players realizing they're unable to take a win maybe in 2 turns. Both players just showing they have
more than one Pokemon, basically, yeah.
Showing the different options they have to get more Pokemon out, towards showing the Battle VIP pass to get 2 more Pokemon out. Unfortunate end.
Yeah.
Of course, no winner, but both players still live in this tournament.